Okay, so we are live on YouTube in case some of the participants want to go there. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining. This is Brijesh Dalmia from Masterstroke, and we are back 6 p.m. Today is 6th of May for record purposes, and we have an esteemed guest on our show today, Chatty, as they call, Sagata Chatterjee of Nippon India Mutual Fund. Big guy, big man, and I know him for almost one and a half decade, more than almost 2 decades. It has been wonderful engaging with Chatty. Welcome to the show, Chatty.
Thank you very much, Brijesh. Masterstroke is a great platform, and happy to be with the master also.
No, thank you. So it is a privilege to have you. And in fact, the topic today is very interesting. What's new at Nippon?
Yeah.
And and it has a couple of reasons, because of Reliance becoming Nippon. Some of the crises that happened 2 years, 3 years ago in the markets, and then a lot of restructuring happened. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions on that, which you can explain to the audience about what has changed at Nippon.
Sure.
But first of all, Chatty, let me admit one thing, that I went through your performance recently, Nippon. Right. I was not tracking performance very often. And suddenly, when I checked up the scorecard of Nippon, I must admit I was very positively surprised, and the performance is above the roof in many schemes, and you are doing quite well. Would you like to enlighten the audience, many of whom may be like me, though you are working in mutual fund industry, you are sometimes not aware of certain things which are very important. So would you take the liberty to give us a snapshot of the performance of Nippon?
Very true. Thank you very much. So warm welcome to all our guests who are there, and thanks very much for having me here. I think, Brijesh, it's not a surprise for us, first of all, that the performances have improved. Let me just probably, before I, share the performance highlights, I think it's important for us to also take all our guests into history. This company where we are today, we are a 26-year-old plus company. We have had the pedigree of creating wealth for many years. We have flagship funds like Growth Fund, or small cap fund, multi cap fund. They have had lakhs of customers who have come in, investors who have come in and created wealth. And also, just for knowledge of all our friends who are there on the call, Nippon Life, which is the largest insurance company of Japan, strategically partnered with this company in 2012. And from there on, they kept on, enhancing the partnership. And as early as 2018-19, they became the owner of this company, in the sense they own 75. Now they own 75% of the company, and hence our name is Nippon Life India Mutual Fund, and the asset management company works there. So now when I'm sharing with you all the journey and the name, which is Nippon Life Insurance being the parent, when they came into being the owner, they gave a couple of messages to the team, saying that for them, the investor first part was very critical, because as all of us know, Japanese companies are known for investor centricity. This company is a 135-year-old company in Japan, having a global presence. Being an insurance company, they were always investor first as part of their vision, as part of their DNA. And hence, when we did see that that was a change of thought. We were always looking at the investor, but investor first being a very important message from their end. That probably led us to make quite a bit of changes, which I will obviously articulate later. But the entire system started believing that we had the capability to create wealth for long periods of time. Yes, there were periods of volatility, but the investor probably was not ready to experience that in a mutual fund platform, and hence we had to do quite a bit of changes. And what I'm going to show now is not because the market dynamics changed or COVID came and things happened. It was a collective decision which all of us took to, and along with the fund management team, which resulted in this change of outlook. And thanks, Brijesh, for having observed that. And I'm happy to share my screen now to probably give a glimpse to the audience as to how we have fared on the report card. And why I say report card, because I think the sheet which will come in front of us will look like a report card, and this is what we track passionately in our company. Is this slide visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we have done here, we have tried to capture the performance right from the time the COVID happened and how we are now, which is a 2-year block. And if one sees, we keep on observing our performance on a rolling return basis, and we try to see how on a quartile performance we have from a quartile ranking, how we have been performing in the last 8 quarters now. One can see that the quartile rankings have come up, but the most important thing is consistency, which is what we are trying to give a message to the larger audience always. And this was our pain area. We were always there on the performance side, but the volatility of the performance was very, very high in certain schemes, which made a lot of our partners sort of get into a mindset that ye to teji ka ghora hai. Okay, but I think that messaging and that thought process had to change. And reason why what you are seeing here is an outcome of multiple things which you have done. And not only on the equity side, if you see the fixed income side, which is again a very large part of the offerings what we give to the investors and the partners, you would see that taking one important step of being quality conscious, as well as ensuring that the investor's experience should be good over long periods of time. We have ensured that the quartile performance is also up there. So it is difficult, I know, to sustain the rankings. We are seeing the IPL, which is going on today. The CSKs of the world has now, gone down on rankings, and Mumbai Indians is down. But what comes up again and again in cricket as well as in our business is you got to be consistent, and for which a lot of things needs to be done at the back end to make yourself consistent. It's a hard work, and I think collectively as a Nippon team we have done that, and hopefully this sort of an experience we would try to sort of continue in times to come.
I think this is fantastic. Chatty, your equity is good and your debt is fantastic. I mean, yeah. Q1, I can see all over Q1 in your flagship schemes. And this is something very, very interesting. And I think it's a food for thought for the audience in terms of where they are available. So let me ask the audience, if you can simply write yes and no in the chat box. Were you aware of this performance by Nippon in the recent past? Yes or no? Let me see how many responses come and what is the response.
Yeah, I think.
Please be honest. I need 100, 200, 300 responses. And this, every no is a message to Nippon as well as the audience that this is what Nippon has done and we have not been tracking it. Fantastic. Chatty, there are more no's than yes. And so I think that this message, this program and this what's new at Nippon is very interesting because people were not aware of this, and now probably they will have a look at it.
Yeah, okay. I think it's definitely जो दिखता है वो समझते हैं लोग.
Correct. कुछ लोगों ने पूछा है कि क्वेश्चन क्या था। क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या आपको मालूम था कि निपॉन की ऐसी परफॉर्मेंस आ रही है, इतनी जबरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस, yes or no? Fantastic, thank you. So let me move on to my next question, Chatty. Let me ask you a pain question that 2 साल 3 साल पहले जब डेट क्राइसिस आई, तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली निपॉन वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. कपल ऑफ यू स्कीम वे बैडली हिट. कितना बुरा हुआ, कितनी तकलीफ आई आपको? हाउ मच डैमेज इट डिड टू यू? What was happening at Nippon and what corrective steps you took, and how did you give message to the MFD community or the investors community?
No, I think a very fair question, and I think this question is very close to our heart because having worked in this company for the last 17 years, we have, all of us, collectively have seen this company grow, and in that journey we have had many instances of great times, but few instances which you did articulate about, was definitely painful. I think 2018-19 was a tough phase for all of us. The good part is, and I would like to thank all our friends who are there on the call, and which is what I keep, and all of us, right from our CEO downwards, everyone, that this company has been built on the strength of mutual fund distributors, erstwhile IFAs, because we never had a bank to, support our, growth. And what we could do during that time was, myself, the entire, and thanks to the entire Japanese Nippon Life team, who we have got permanent expats sitting here. We traveled across the country, meeting them, doing multiple calls. That time, unfortunately, the Zoom was not there. I hope it was discovered that time. And, we had to go physically everywhere, create that trust. I think the trust factor was one which we had to re-establish, which we did for after 23 years. We had to again re-establish our trust. And the Nippon Life pedigree came very strong to help that, trust factor being rebuilt. Because Nippon, as I earlier mentioned, the Japanese companies are all associated with trust. And, so the first factor was building trust. Second part was, resolving all the issues as much as possible. And that was the message which had come to us. And we took it on our chin, saying that we will go and talk to all our partners. If you don't communicate, if you don't talk, if you're a silent observer, then probably, our lakhs of investors will not get the confidence which we are trying to, which we would like our investors to get, because the medium of communication was only through distributors. So we did this very strongly. And apart from that, what I did explain earlier, that we also were cognizant of the fact that changes were required to be done, okay, because there were a lot of learnings. It didn't end with the crisis which we did go through. There was another crisis which was COVID, but the debt crisis that time also happened with one of our AMC friends getting affected. And I think that was a big learning for all of us, that we have to go back to the drawing board and come back with the right explanation and understanding of fixed income as well as the larger business. So I think these are the things which we have done, Brijesh. Happy to share that we really got very strong positive response from our friends. Yes, there will be some areas of concern which obviously we do carry, and we are in the process of resolution.
Fantastic. I appreciate your honest confession. इतना सीधा स्ट्रेट कम लोग बात करते हैं, और आपने सारी बातें को बहुत अच्छी तरह से समझाया. थैंक यू सो मच, Chatty. So after this event of the debt thing 2 years ago, did you change any process? What is the reason of this performance coming back so strongly?
Yeah.
And what are the process changes you made in the company? Can you give some insights into that?
I will. And, this is the part which I'll tell you, Brijesh, मेरा नींद में भी ना, अगर किसी ने मुझे उठा लिया आज बोला कि कंपनी में क्या प्रोसेस चेंजेस किया, I can just go and just keep talking. Now, this is why I'm saying this is not me, my entire team, everyone, because we used we got, I'll say, that conditioned to start talking process in our company in the last 1.5 years. And what I'm going to show the audience today now is what probably is a smaller glimpse of what is there at a larger scale at the back end. But let me also articulate that Japanese companies are all process driven. For them, it is process, process, process. And the second learning, I spoke about first learning, what they told us. The second learning was, and this is very important for all of us to know, that as you become large in the asset management business, because finally we are managing money in fiduciary capacity, we have to keep a very strong eye on risk management and process. अगर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट और प्रोसेस हमारा ठीक नहीं रहा, देन इसमें क्या होता है कि जितना ज्यादा पैसा आप मैनेज करोगे उतना ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज होता है वर्ल्ड में, इंडिया में, दुनिया में, उसको आपको समझने के लिए, उसको आपको सीधी तरीके से चलाने के लिए आपको एक गाइड टूल जरूरत है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट वाज द सेकंड थिंग व्हाट दे एक्सप्लेन टू मी. आई विल क्विकली गो इनटू द part which I mentioned to you. I can.
Yeah, and Chatty, if I can interrupt, can
Yeah.
you also explain the concept of this fund casing which you have kind of come out with? It's very
Yes,
interesting.
yes, yes. I will. I think
Okay.
what I'm going to talk will encompass that part. It's very interesting. Good you raised that part. So what we have done, ये जो चार, can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we have done, friends, and this is what the caption of the slide says, that implementation of strong risk management and fund casing framework. थोड़ा आप लोग को हिस्ट्री बता देता हूँ. 18-19 में जब I mentioned to you we were going through a tough time and all that, Nippon India and the management took a decision that हमको एक outside in perspective होना चाहिए. इनवर्ड लुकिंग जितना आप हो जाओगे उतना आपको लगेगा कि आप सब अच्छी चीज कर रहे हो, लेकिन जब बाहर से कोई, जैसा हम क्रिकेट में देखते हैं, चाहे कोई भी चीज में हम देखते हैं कि एक कोच का होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक बाहर से एक आके जो आपको गाइड करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज आपका कुछ भी अगर तरीका ठीक नहीं हो रहा है तो देन यू स्टार्ट करेक्टिंग. तो जब हमको जब बताया गया कि आप जो 25 साल से या 23 ईयर से जब कर रहे हैं चीजें, लेकिन आपको एक आउटसाइड इन पर्सपेक्टिव लेना जरूरी है. उसी टाइम पे हमने वी हैड अपॉइंटेड मर्सर. मर्सर इज द ग्लोबल एडवाइजर टू मेनी एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनीज, insurance companies, who basically do a study of your overall how you manage business, and they guide you and give you the tools to make your business more robust in times to come. So Mercer ने 6 महीना हमारा कंपनी को स्टडी किया, काफी सारे काम किए उन लोग ने. The outcome was that they came back and suggested 3-4 very very strong things, which is what we have implemented. And जो फर्स्ट दो जो उनका सजेशन था वो पॉजिटिव था, सेइंग दैट आप लोग का जो स्ट्रेंथ है इन रिसर्च, in identifying companies and creating wealth for investors has been superb. So we are best stock pickers. The second part, what they came and said that आपका quality of fund management is of the highest order. Okay, you have great guys, and we always had great guys. The third and fourth point, what they said, that since all of you all were trying to build a business and you have made successful businesses, what probably in times to come because उस time पे हमारा AUM 2 lakh crore का था and industry was about 20 lakh crore. This industry, if it is going to become 50 lakh crore and or become more multiplier, if it goes, आपका भी AUM बढ़ेगा. तो आपको आपका जो आप काम कर रहे हो, whatever fund management work we are doing, you got to have a framework around that, the risk management framework. And उसी टाइम पे उन लोग ने हमको fund casing propose किया. Fund casing is a global best practice which many of the fund houses globally adopt to make their risk management process very very strong. And हमने adopt किया हमारे company में fund casing. फंड केसिंग क्या है मैं आपको बताऊंगा. एंड आई थिंक द गुड पार्ट इज उसी टाइम पे सेवी केम विद दी 2018 2019 में हमको फंड केसिंग बताया गया और हमने सेकेंड हाफ ऑफ 2019 में फंड केसिंग हमारे कंपनी में अडॉप्ट किया. उसी दौरान सेबी केम विद देयर गाइडलाइंस ऑन स्कीम कैटेगराइजेशन. तो हमारे लिए और भी अच्छा हो गया कि रेगुलेटर ने बता दिया कि लार्ज कैप, मिड कैप, स्मॉल कैप, मल्टी कैप का किस तरीके से अंडरलाइंग पोर्टफोलियो का लोग ने गाइडलाइंस दे दिया. नाउ दिस इज व्हाट इज फंड केसिंग. And now how the fund casing looks like, I will come to you to the next slide. This is fund casing. Fund casing क्या बोलता है कि आप हर एक स्कीम को एक ऊपर से ओवरलाइन गाइड टूल है सेबी का, उसके नीचे हर स्कीम का हमने इस 10 पैरामीटर पे डिफाइंड परसेंटेजेस या डिफाइंड क्राइटेरिया कर दिया है. एक हर एक फंड को का एक गवर्नेंस टूल है. सो अगर ये से लार्ज कैप फंड हो, मिड कैप हो, मल्टी कैप हो, ऑल दीज क्राइटेरिया जो आपकी स्क्रीन में है उसी के अराउंड देर आर there is a percentage or there is some data or there is some benchmark which is created जहां जिसके अराउंड ये फंड को हमको मैनेज करना पड़ेगा एंड उसके ऊपर फंड मैनेजर का स्किल होगा. So the degree of difficulty for the fund manager has become much more because there is a guide tool which was always there, but it was not documented in such in such a manner that they were properly these criteria were not defined fully, and hence the fund casing has become a very, very strong I'll say framework around which the skill set of the fund manager will be he has to show his skill set. Now एज एन एग्जाम्पल ये स्लाइड अगर आपको दिख रहा है तो मैं आपको थोड़ा सा ब्रिजेश I'll take a minute or so more.
Yes.
You know how it works.
This platform is all yours for today. You can explain what's new at Nippon and how you are making things different. Yeah.
Yes. So coming to the fund casing, how it is very important. Say example, let's take the large cap fund. Large cap fund हमको सभी को पता है कि सेबी ने गाइडलाइन दिया कि 80% of the portfolio should be in the top 100 companies. Remaining 20% has to be in the mid and small cap. So that's a guideline. What the fund casing does is actually give a proper definition to some of the underlying I'll say characteristics of the portfolio. Example लेके चले, the third column को अगर आपने देखा तो क्या what is it saying that the financials say in a large cap fund maximum allowed deviation is 6%. हम सभी को पता है कि in a large cap fund which is BSE 100 अगर हमारा benchmark है, then financials today as of today has got a weightage of say approximately 30%. So what fund casing says that this fund cannot go plus 6% minus 6% as weightage in the from a financials point of view. तो आप 36% आपका maximum आप exposure ले सकते हो in financials. आपका minimum exposure should be at least 24%. तो ये बहुत ही important है. और हर एक जो sector by sector broadly there is a deviation allowed deviation defined for say the large cap fund. Likewise हर एक fund पे definition दिया गया. The second part of fund casing is research. ये जो slide है जो मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, what the fund casing says that if you are researching, we are researching the maximum number of stocks in the mutual fund industry. We have got a 30-member team covering almost 550 stocks. उसमें से 17 analysts है. And the most important part is what Mercer did tell us. The second recommendation was you should have a head of research तो हमने हेड ऑफ रिसर्च अपॉइंट किया उस टाइम पे, और हमको बोला गया कि हर एक जो कंपनीज को आप रिसर्च करते हो उसका एक इंटरनल रेटिंग आपको करना पड़ेगा. एंड नाउ वी हैव अ रेटिंग rating done of all the 500 stocks which we cover as A, B, C, D. उसको हमको फंड केसिंग में कैसा कोरिलेट करते हैं वो आपको ये फिफ्थ जो फोर्थ कॉलम में आप देख रहे होगे कि वी हैव नाउ डिफाइंड. आई विल कंटिन्यू विद लार्ज कैप फंड. लार्ज कैप फंड में अभी डिफाइंड है कि कितना सी कैटेगरी स्टॉक्स आप ओन कर सकते हो, कितना डी कैटेगरी स्टॉक्स आप ओन कर सकते हो. नाउ आई विल जस्ट नाउ गो स्लाइटली मोर डीपर. ABCD is defined basis management risk and financial risk, and there are multiple parameters around which the the rating of the stocks are done. Now, assuming this is a D category, D category is is defined at 3%. What it means that the companies may be good, or say as an example, the company may be good on management risk, but the financial from a financial parameters, it may not be stacking up in our rating formula. Hence, it is at D. What it avoids is volatility in the fund in times to come. If one is very optimistic about that particular category of stocks, he or she as a fund manager cannot go beyond 3%, because there is a high possibility that the portfolio might become volatile. Hence, आप जब वो शीट पहले देखा कि हमारा क्वार्टाइल परफॉर्मेंस अगर it is becoming consistency is coming, it is because of these underlying things which we have now brought in every fund. Likewise, active share. आप लोग में सभी लोग ने सुना होगा कि नहीं सुना होगा. If you have heard it, it's great. Active share is how much percentage deviated you are from the benchmark. Now, just as an example, if any fund is 100% active share, that means their portfolio is entirely divergent from the benchmark which they are basically getting basically against their benchmark, what they get I'll say what the benchmark जो आप करते हो comparison, you are compared against the benchmark, so you are 100% deviated. If you are less than 50, then you are an index fund. So that's how the entire active share formula works. So for every fund now we have a defined matrix around which every fund manager is supposed to manage the fund, and hence the outcome जो आप देख रहे हो has been very, very consistent. And I think it's a learning process. Nippon guys, our fund management team, they are continuously working to keep improvising on this as times go ahead. And you will find us coming back to you and giving you more inputs on how processes are improving on top of this. Please note, please don't think that everything gets stopped at the process level. The fund manager skill set on top of that is very, very high. We have the best of the fund managers, and on stock selection and everything, they really use their experience of research and understanding of companies. So it's a combination of process and skill. Art and science को combine कर दिया हमने, and that's where the outcome is coming to all of us. Long answer to your question, but this is the heart of our business. Likewise, हमारा debt side में भी हमने, and this is after the learning of what you mentioned, Brijesh, about crisis and other stuff. I think the 4 important pillars around which the debt funds are structured are these in front of us. We have defined duration for every fund. We have a rating profile. हमने debt में भी हमारा internal rating profile बना दिया है हमने. We have a concentration analysis, or the concentration has been now defined, how much security level concentration one should have in any portfolio. And the 4th important part, which we have now introduced in the last 2 years, is liquidity score. Why it is important is, all of us know, in March 20, when COVID happened, even a AAA paper was having a was having an yield in the market which was in double digit. And that is the time when we felt that liquidity in a AAA portfolio is also difficult in in the worst of the times. और hence आपने देखा ही होगा हमने liquidity score बना दिया है हर एक security के लिए, which is an internal guidelines around which the fund is is working. And and this is how we construct the fixed income. It is a bottom up construct. And reason why when you see the quartile performance, it is not performance only, it is the quality which is also giving us protection. The quality is very, very important. And I'll go to one slide before this. Going back to this slide, the point number 2, हमने बहुत बड़ा decision लिया in April 2020 board meeting that we will not take any exposure below AA, excepting the credit fund where SEBI allows. All our funds are now AA and above. 99% of our debt funds are AA and above. So that is where the entire summary of the process, the quality, how the performance has come. This is where I can take a pause, Brijesh, to answer this question.
So don't take a pause, Chatty. It's quite interesting, and I think the first slide which you showed in terms of the performance is a result of these slides which are showing that you did these things.
Sure.
ये सब कुछ किया आपने. Because of that Q1 and Q2 is reflecting. Am I right?
Yes, very much, very much. And it's a culture change. I can also, be bold enough to share again. It's a culture change because we were used to a particular way of working. The things have changed. And I think when culture changes, when the thought process changes, the outcome always is better from an investor point of view.
Fantastic. And I just saw one of your slides about folios and AUM. And I got to know that Nippon has one of the largest investor base in the country.
Yeah.
What about that? So let me ask also in the chat box to people, how many of you were aware? Please be honest with your answer. How many of you are aware? Somebody told me at Nippon that Nippon has one of the highest number of investors as an investor folio, as well as unique investors in the country. Please write yes and no. If you're not aware of this, write no. And if you're aware of this, write yes. Most people are not aware. Can you go ahead with this, Chatty?
Yeah, so I think, we are, again, going back to history, a 26-year-old company. How did this company grow? It was on the basis of our strength to go deep into India, taking help of MFDs and grow our business. So we were always a retail-oriented company. When the crisis happened, or the period where we had a setback, we always believed that this, the retail customers will always continue to keep giving us the support because MFDs were always with us. And hence, when the brand change happened, when the visibility of our brand and the work which we were doing on the ground, as well as post-COVID, the digital experience and the digital culture came into the country. I think we were the first guys to handhold our distributors to get the digital culture, getting embraced by them, because we all know, many of us today are digital, but initially there were apprehensions, how to go, how to do the transactions, can the volumes increase, how do I change the investors' behavior? There were multiple roadblocks. So we did a lot of groundwork to ensure that the digital culture, irrespective of the distributor using our platform or generally using any other platform which is there in the industry, but they have to be digitally, upgraded. So that has really helped us, in the last 2.5 years. And once the entire shift of transactions from physical to digital has now happened, I think we were one of the largest recipients of that shift. Also, I think I should not forget that our ability to create retail investors has also happened because we are very strong on the passive side. and we have done a lot of work on the ETF and the passive funds. I think combination of these two have really helped us to grow our folio count. Like Brijesh mentioned, let me be also very candid that this is documented in AMFI. So last year, out of the total 3.3 crore folios which came in the mutual fund industry, 70 lakh came to our fund house. So
God.
so that's the sort of scale and size with which we work, and reason why what you're finding on in the slide in front of us, this is what we have done. I think it is because of the hard work, sheer hard work with both our teams as well as distributors have worked in getting new investors. As we speak, we have 1.1 crore unique PANs in our company. So we are 1 crore plus unique investors. And I think as we go ahead from here on, our quest to increase the SIP book, we do almost 1.5 lakh SIPs every month. And I think that count will keep going up if, we are doing the right things on the ground, supporting our distributors to grow their retail base. And I'll just in the same breath, let me also sort of share this slide, which will be a happy slide for all our friends on the call, that our AUMs also have grown in the last say 1.5 years, to the extent now we have started gaining market share. So it is an aggregate of everything, the folio count coming, investors giving us mandate, distributors working very strongly for us, the performance coming back, the process getting recognized, a lot of investors coming back who probably were not giving us mandates in the past. The culmination of all this has resulted in the AUMs moving for us.
Fantastic, Chatty. I think this is quite interesting, and many of these things, when we're not being in the public limelight of mutual fund distribution fraternity, that these are the numbers that Nippon can boast of. So let me have a final couple of questions, and if any audience, any MFD has a question, you can please ask those questions on the Q&A box preferred, because I will take the questions from Q&A first and then the chat box. You can post your questions there. So Chatty, I see some of your fund offerings in the recent times. How are they different? And again, to get to the theme of this event, what's new at Nippon? So what are you doing differently in the product space?
Yeah, I think, actually we have done so many things in the last 2 years, and these are again, we were always trying to, ideate when the COVID happened. Then how do we bring back our mojo, into this system? Because the front casing, everything was work in progress. If you see recollect the first slide, what I showed, till March 2020, till September 2020 quarter, the quartile performances were still Q4, and for us, all of us know, if the recency of the performance was not there and the past performance was not, we were struggling, new money was not coming to us. But it was important for us to keep differentiating in the market. So we brought out certain, we were the first guys in the industry to come with a new product offering during the first lockdown. We took a bold step saying that in August 2020, let's launch a new idea, which was the multi-asset fund. We were not a fund house which was very aggressive on asset allocation products, but we said that this is the time when we should come and start talking about a unique idea called multi-asset fund. And that led us to start innovating and bringing in new ideas. And this is the summary. Today, where we stand, we are a full-fledged fund house, having, as I mentioned, active definitely was our strength. Passive, we have really built up very strongly, which includes index funds, ETFs, and the flex and the fund of funds. We have a very strong fund of fund bouquet. Of course, along with that, the third column, which definitely now is a very high focus for us, we started building the asset allocation and the hybrid category, and multi-asset was the start. We have a BAF which is very old. We launched the asset allocator fund. We are into commodities. gold was always our traditional flagship fund. We are into silver and the other hybrid. So basically a full-fledged, it's a thali. You get everything, and it's for us to pick and choose. Good part is, most of these product ideas, what we have launched in the last 1.5 years, we have been able to build scale. We have got differentiation. We took the expertise of Nippon to bring in the Taiwan fund, as early as December 2021. I think that was the most unique offering which we could bring, and we had a lot of investors who came and participated, and a lot of distributors gave us support. Silver we just launched, as I mentioned, and I think differentiation is important, because today investors requirements are very, very different. They are reading, they are learning, they are talking, and they are asking multiple questions. And if you, and as a manufacturer, if you are able to support that cause of having multiple products on your platform and articulate it rightly through multiple platforms, we believe in that, and hence we have so many offerings, and every offering has its uniqueness and its market potential to grow. And finally, this is where I mentioned on the asset allocation piece. Now we believe that we have a full-fledged asset allocation offering to be given to our investors through our partners. What you see on the screen, how if someone asks you a question, how much allocation into equity I should bring in, and what is the method, we believe complex questions like this should be answered through model-based offering. And that's where our Balance Advantage Fund is very unique. We have an asset allocator fund, which is another model which we run. So the intelligence in our system is very, very high, I think. And the intelligence we are not trying to bring the intelligence through science and through model in front of all of us. The normal hybrid bond, equity savings fund, and equity hybrid fund continues, and we have some more feeder funds which are there, which are different. So the differentiation is our strength. If all of us recollect, we're the first guys to launch gold fund. We're the first guys to have a debit card in the industry, which no one till date has been able to replicate, and we are the first guys to have a SIP insure. So we continue to be very different, and I think that's been our strength. Taking into consideration risk and other stuff, we would like to continue to be differentiated in the market.
Fantastic. Let me make some observations. What I understand from your talk today is that the performance of Nippon Mutual Fund is among the top 1 and 2 quartile, quarter 1 and quarter 2. Many of your funds are doing there. Yeah. You have one of the largest folio counts in the country. You also have one of the largest unique investors investing in Nippon Mutual Funds who remain invested through this volatility. You have a fund casing process which has delivered outstanding performance. You have a unique product offering. And I want to ask this question to the audience now. With this talk of Chatty today in the last half an hour, and I have a couple of more questions for you, Chatty, before I take audience question, but I want to take an opinion kind of thing, and let me see how many people respond on the chat box. Before this event, were you aware of these things at Nippon? And secondly, does your mindset becomes more positive and you will look at Nippon more aggressively because of this information that you got today? Please write yes and no, and let us see. Okay, so first question and second question. Okay, so the first no is good and the second yes is good. That's the conclusion. No means that they were not aware and they will look more aggressively at Nippon.
Sure.
I mean, this has been a good interview, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's an eye opener for me also, that how perception and reality is.
So the second question somebody is asking. The second question is that after the information shared by Chatty today, and I'm using the word Chatty because this is how he is known in the market. His name is Sagata Chatterjee. Yeah. So the question is that क्या आपका परसेप्शन निपॉन म्यूचुअल फंड की तरफ से बदला है और आप ज्यादा एग्रेसिवली निपॉन म्यूचुअल फंड को देखने की कोशिश करेंगे? दिस वाज द सेकंड क्वेश्चन एंड 99% पीपल आर सेइंग यस. सो Chatty, let me come to this another interesting point कि since last 20 years मैंने देखा है Nippon mutual funds have been very aggressive in distributor training.
Right.
And you have been continuing with this. Aapka, I don't know about now about the Edge thing, but you had the brand called the Edge Training.
Yeah.
So what's happening and what's new in the training initiative of Nippon?
Yes, yes. I think that's one of the closest to our heart, and I'll just again present my slide here. Just a minute, I think. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Is this visible now, Brijesh? Yeah. Yeah. I think Edge has been a brand which is now 12 years. 2000. Yeah. So it's about 12 years old. Moving towards the 13-year mark. I think Edge, I can for sure say that in this journey of ups and downs, we have not shied away from the practice of enhancing our internal skill sets and our internal, modules to keep making the distributors strengthen or give them that power or that strength and the, ability to keep aligning to the requirements of the market. uh, why I'm saying is because how the process of selling was, or the process of advising or process of distribution was maybe 5 years back, that has changed dramatically. The investor questions, the investor needs, and the investor behaviors have changed drastically. There are now situations where many of our partners who is to manage the first generation would be now managing the second, and the possibly third generation has also started knocking the door. There are situations where our distributors have got second generation working now in their platform, and they are advising their clients, or managing their clients which their parents would have brought into the system. So if that is the case, we also had to keep changing and bringing forth the various initiatives to our distributors in this last 12, 13 years of journey. Now, if you see this slide, it is very busy, but I'll just break it up into two, three critical pointers. The top left-hand side block talks about the number of learners we have had in our entire journey of 13 years. I think more than 10 lakh learners we would have trained. And please note, friends, we just believe in having experts like Vijesh come to us sometimes, and we also have our internal trainers who are certified. They are very high on their knowledge skills. They are very high on their certifications also, like most of them are CFPs and a couple of them are CFAs. So basically that is the sort of importance we give to learning and knowledge. Hence, what you see on the left hand side is the sheer rigor of education and educating our partners has continued for the last 13 years. Hence the number of quantum what you see on the left hand side. What I would like to share with you all is, how we have changed is we have divided our learning program into those 5 or 6 buckets what you see, right from improving technical skills, which is very important. Sales skills, what I mentioned, because influencing, managing HNIs, presentation skills, I think these are very, very important things which one has to learn. The third part is, of course, game-based learning, which is something new which has happened, and I think we have adopted it very fast. So we have multiple ways and means to enhance and strengthen you and empower you to to make your knowledge levels go up. The last part is behavioral, which I have explained. I think that's a very important thing, and we do a lot of stuff around that part. So if you see, as a composite learning unit, which we have as a company, we continue to train to enhance knowledge skills, to empower our partners to become more proficient in business, and give them all the tools so that they can build businesses for long periods of time. And that's the biggest thing which we really take pride of. And I think we have a dedicated team which is fully dedicated to all our partners. So hence, kindly use this platform, and I'm sure you all will be happy in times to come.
Fantastic, Chatty. So I think you can take off the presentation because
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one final question.
Yeah.
Chatty, क्या आपको लगता है you have been successful in changing the mindset of distributor pan India in the last 3 years? What happened 3 years before? Are you satisfied कि mutual fund की thought process बदल गई है? What percentage you are satisfied? Because mutual fund distributor ये भी कहते हैं, they are saying कि we are okay with Nippon, but our investors have still not accepted Nippon fully, and so we are not promoting Nippon. So there are two views. Some of them are really working for Nippon, and some of them are not working for Nippon. So are you fully satisfied now that you have the market share and you are happy about it, or there is a distance to be covered? Or what is your message to those distributors who are not actively engaged with you right now?
Yeah, I think what we believe is, I'll repeat again, the MFDs are our core strength. And the voice of the MFD today, like we have seen our voice coming on the screen as to how they have taken this session and what is the learning they have got. From our perspective, what we believe is, I think many of the MFDs have given us huge support in the times, in the tough times and also in the good times. And the last 2 years, what they did for us is take the new brand to the investors. I think taking the new brand to the investors through the distributors is, I think, the most satisfying thing for all of us. Let me also be candid that we have not done so much of marketing, and visibility of Nippon brand to, go back to the masses and tell them about our fund house. We have done, but we have not done extensively. I think that support we will start giving all our partners this year, and that should give us more, visibility and confidence to your investors that, they should give more mandate to this fund house. I think the third part, what gives us more satisfaction is, we measured it through percentage activation. Today, as we speak, every month we have 25,000 distributors who give us business. The number of SIPs what we do couldn't have happened if that many partners wouldn't have given us mandate. Maybe the quantum is lesser. We are okay with that. That will incrementally only go up. But the number of partners giving us mandates has really gone up. And in tough times also, it was 12,000, now it is 25,000. So we have doubled the number of people who are working for us. We have an extremely strong machinery for newcomers who are coming into the industry in handholding them and making them competent for mutual fund sales. So what we do, and we get satisfaction with what we have been doing. But yeah, there are gaps. I will not say that we are always happy, because we are open to suggestions. I think this is another, probably one of the good parts about our team is we are always open for suggestions. And whatever suggestions come, which are possible for implementation, we will go out and give it back to our distributors positively. And hence, I think Brijesh, Dil Mange More always is there, but we have to do that hard work. I think we always believe that hard work is to be done by the manufacturer. Partners are always there to support if we are doing the right things.
Wonderful, Chatty. So I will end my questions here. And thank you so much for participating, but I'm not going anywhere. Please stay with me for a couple of minutes. Let me ask you some questions, some tough questions, some good questions. And you can have very short answer, because we are now over 1 hour. And my intent is always to finish it before 1 hour, because this is the model we use, because I have seen that short interviews works very well, but I will go and extend this timeline for another 5 minutes. So short questions, short answers, and questions first. So you would like first tough questions or easy questions first?
I leave to you, boss.
So as they say, give me the bad
tough
news
part.
first.
I think the tough part is over for me.
Yeah. So as they say, give me the bad news first, and I can read some of the chats, and I will pick up some of the thoughts. And no extra elaboration is required, but just a short answer from you. People are saying your retirement funds is a blunder. They are saying your tax plan is performing very poorly, and there is almost no return in your hybrid funds. What's your comments?
Yeah, I think pertinent questions. I think all these three funds had a very, very tough. I think these three funds had a Six Sigma event also, apart from COVID. And the good part is, I'll just give you my example. Retirement fund. I am a investor. My daughter is the day the fund was launched 5 years back. My daughter was that day 13 years old. I started my SIP in that fund for her retirement. So from that perspective, the retirement fund has bounced back. If one tracks the performance from a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year perspective, it is up the ranks. 4 year, 5 year is still a stress. I think the work is in progress. Tax saver, it had a very, very tough phase. The fund casing was first applied to tax saver because it was 100% active share. I explained to you what is active share. I didn't quote which fund was active share in our company. It was tax saver. We have done a lot of groundwork on that fund. The chart which I showed first, tax saver is now quartile performance #1 consistently. And as we speak, 2 year performance has come back. The 3 year, 4 year, 5 year is remaining to be, improvement is pending. The work is in progress. We have a great fund manager who has come from Tata. Rupesh Patel is managing it. The third fund is equity hybrid fund. I think the equity hybrid fund had got beaten because of the debt side. Again, the recent performance in the last 2 years has been great. Unfortunately, we have to wait for more time, and we have a great, we have a clarity of managing this fund. Meenakshi Dawar manages this fund, and she is a great fund manager. She is managing the value fund. We have seen that the fund is doing great. Give her some more time, and this fund will also probably come back as one of the good funds for the future. Please don't exit these funds. These funds are under good hands now, with the fund casing governing it. The fund casing, please believe in the fund casing. That is governing these funds now.
Fantastic. Second tough question. A lot of people are happy with your service, and even greater number of people in the chat box are not happy with the service of Nippon, especially the RM's way of handling. Any observation, or will you take this feedback?
No, we'll take this feedback, and let me also, articulate in this call, and which is what I did touch upon when we do our edge training. Like, we are trying to skill you, we are trying to skill our RMs also, okay? Because today, if our RM is sitting in front of you and not giving you value add, or not able to probably add value to you and your business, probably these feedbacks will keep coming to us, okay? And hence, give us some more time. Our biggest strength is we have got vintage RMs. Our vintage RMs have the ability to learn and keep, improvising. We will take the feedback positively, and you will find us improving much more in times to come.
Chatty, one of the strength of Masterstroke and its members is that, in such interviews, we get very good feedbacks, and we get open questions from our, users as well as participants. The tough questions that this is the news. We did quite often these interviews, and the top management gets what's happening at the ground level and what MFDs are really talking about. And since you are there, probably we can work greater towards improving these things. Yes. And I will take these feedbacks in the right direction, of course.
100%. I am one, as I mentioned to you all, we are one AMC which is open to feedback. We will always work on the feedback.
Absolutely. So, a couple of more questions was that, going forward, and I'm not able to take the name of the audience who asked this question because I just noted down some of the questions. Right. So I'm sorry for not taking the name of the person who's asked this question. You will consider yourself as an ETF manager or an active fund? And I don't want a diplomatic answer here from Chatty. What is your heart that says, give us the answer to the MFDs who are looking for the future of this business? What is the component of ETF or passive funds, because Nippon is very active in the passive space, which gives an indication that कि आगे आने वाले समय में passive चलने वाला है. Is that the end of the mutual fund distribution fraternity? What is your candid answer, even if it is a tough answer?
Then it is not. See, I'll tell you, it's a great question, and it keeps coming to me and to Sandeep and all of us on a recurring basis. I did show the slide we spoke about. We are a manufacturer across product lines. I could have shied away and not shown the tax saver, the what you call the passive side, because we are addressing MFDs today. But that is the reality, friends. The reality is, as investors start maturing, as investors start, seeing more, learning more, the quest to probably, try to look for new opportunities will always be there. And reason why ETFs and passives globally have become very, very big. Also, the other fact was there that a lot of the active fund managers could not probably compete with the benchmarks, when the benchmarks were, traveling faster or giving better returns. Now, that is not the argument today. The argument is are we a true blue distributor? Now, what are AMCs like us doing? We are trying to bring in index funds, which will give you vehicles to give ETF equivalent products in the mutual fund, in the mutual fund umbrella. And that is important for all of us to adopt. If we don't adopt or ignore that category, ignorance will lead investors to probably exploring new opportunities. I was in Ahmedabad yesterday. I was briefing a set of 5 great distributors. What did I tell them? I told them one thing: you are our replica. If we are a manufacturer doing all these things, you also have to be replicating the manufacturer's product line in your product delivery. And hence, all of us have to keep this in mind. Low cost, high cost, passive, active, these will always remain. Are we giving the entire bouquet to the investor? उसको लेना नहीं लेना उसका प्रॉब्लम है, हमको कैसा बताना उसका हमारा जरूरी है. And once that thing happens, I think automatically asset allocation will help you to get the right, fair share of the wallet of the investor. If one starts believing in this and start, building their business around this thought, argument about passive, active, low cost, high cost, wo kabhi nahi aane wala. I think that is the way ahead. Hence, we believe that everything is going to coexist. We are not going to push accelerator towards one category or decelerate something. We expect you to also, look at that very favorably.
I think I would like to add one liner here for my mutual fund distributor friends, that as a company, they have to have presence in all situations, all markets, all categories, because they are a manufacturer. And it doesn't mean that one category will not do better than the other. It's market dependent. So both will coexist. This is my opinion. And I want to now ask the audience to please do give the opinion about this session to Chatty. If you think this session was good, not very impressive, because if you are still there after 1 hour, I think you like the session. There are 200 plus people right now also on the platform right now. At some point of time, we were 350 people floating crowd. And do appreciate this interview by Chatty taking his time out to explain the concept of fund casing, which was very interesting, and what's new at Nippon. And any final words, Chatty, from your side, and any final words on Masterstroke?
No, I think I have many words about Masterstroke. I think, Brijesh, having known you for, that almost 2 decades, I think what you have given back to this industry is phenomenal. Okay. Yesterday also, I again repeat, I was in Ahmedabad and I quoted you in many places. Okay. So it's not that because we are doing a, chat today, it's because it's on top of my mind. It is on top of my mind because you have given back to the society, given back to the MFDs. MFDs value what you do. Whatever we have shown today, a lot of things you also you also practice that. And when I speak to you, couple of things which I know, आप मेरे को क्या बोलते हो कि मैंने जो सीखा है, मैंने जो इन्वेस्टर से जो बातचीत करके जो मैंने what I've learned in my practice, I want to unlearn that and give it to my friends. I think that's the greatest thing which you can do, you know, because knowledge इतना इजी नहीं है. नॉलेज कोई इम्पार्ट नहीं करता है. नॉलेज को इम्पार्ट करके खुश होने का जो पार्ट है, दैट ओनली अ टीचर डज. And I think, you know, that's what you do for the industry. It's a great thing. It's a great service to the industry. And I think we are very happy to be associated with Masterstroke and yourself.
Thank you so much, Chatty. And at this point of time, please don't go away. I will answer one question here, but I will stop the recording here and YouTube sharing also. Just wait. And thank you so much, Chatty, for all your time. And I think this was a wonderful session.